What is up, guys? Yandere Neko here. And after the debut of Yuji vs Denji, another popular JJK matchup popped up, which was Jotaro vs Yuta. So I thought I'd give my thoughts on it 2 months after its relevant. Because just like the last JJK matchup, this one also isn't close. So starting off with AP, this is actually interesting because both characters do operate within the same relative area, that being anywhere from town to possibly city level. Starting off with Jotaro, because it takes a bit more to get there. In the first half of Part 3, he was able to inhale the stand Justice, which occupied a town. Now, logically, you can punch harder than you can inhale something, therefore, town level punches. If you don't like that, there's also the Sun Stand that was able to affect an entire area of desert, which can get to town to city level, depending on how you calc it. And also the meteors from Part 6, which are also apparently town level. Granted, I saw the anime adaptation for Part 6. Those are little pebbles poking pebble-sized holes and things. Not sure how that was town level, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a Luddite. Now, for Yuta, it's much simpler. He just objectively scales above Jogo and anyone else from Shibuya, and Jogo's meteor was calced to around town level to city level as well. So, I believe if we do get into exact measurements, Jotaro does have a slight edge, but it's by no means a one-shot difference. Point being, both operate within the same ranges of AP. This is by no means a case of character A is literally unable to hurt character B. At least for AP. When we get to speed, it's a different story. Okay, now for speed, to just start out with Jotaro again. Baseline, he's FTL. There's not only data books which just clearly state him to be light speed, but also there's the Hanged Man feat, which bare minimum it should be an FTL feat. Some people actually argue it's anywhere from 100 to possibly 1,000 times faster than light because Silver Chariot literally intercepted the beam of light and cut it in slow motion. That seems a little high to me, but just baseline FTL. With Yuta, thanks to Modulo confirming even relative to light speed is out of the question for humans, the absolute best we can give him is to treat the Black Flash as a speed feat, which can calc to around Mach 1,000. And keep in mind that's just being generous, because this is the same JJK that gasses up Naoya for reaching Mach 3. This is the same JJK that gasses up Piercing Blood for breaking the sound barrier. So if we really want to be dicks about our scaling, we can do some egregious lowballs on Yuji's front. So when people say Mach 1,000 JJK, you should really be thanking them, truly, because there's some real downplay that we could do if we wanted to go there. So, starting off with abilities, this is really Yuta's only real win con. I also just realized I was calling him Yuji throughout the entirety of the speed section, which, you know what, they have the same, they have very similar sounding names. Fuck a Gega for that. Sorry, someone's gonna call me a tourist because I think I slip up on a similar name. Okay, starting with Jotaro, just because he has much less to talk about. All he really has is Stellar Platinum. Being a stand from Part 3, he's sort of just the quintessential punching ghost. Strong, fast, precise, but limited range, only really operable around 2 meters, give or take. I mean, there is the Star Finger, but A, that's still bound to the 2 meter range, and B, it's a relatively weak attack, so he doesn't really use it unless his stand is just like bound and can't. It's generally better to just punch the opponent than to ever use Star Finger. I mean, there's also the bald bearings from Part 4, but that's debatably more of a Josuke thing, if not just like a one-time thing. Really, for range, Star Platinum has nothing outside of what he can throw. Now, his only other ability is the time stop, where he can stop time for 5 seconds. Now, granted, it. Shoot, I'm slipping over my words here. Granted, time stop can increase with further use, and not to spoil the twist from a decades old manga, but Dio, who had the same ability, seemed confident that he'd eventually be able to stop time for as long as he wanted. Now, granted, no time frame was given for this, so it's not really applicable, but theoretically, throughout the course of the fight, Jotaro could increase his time stop durations. Now, starting off with, going to Yuta, gotta just say that a couple times. He has much more abilities, so let's just get into it. I mean, there's Cursed Energy, which can be used to amplify his stats and physique. Reverse Cursed Energy for healing, or for dispelling curses, like when he kissed the cockroach curse and made it, like, explode, which... that's just gross. Honestly, at that point, I would rather take the L personally on that. That's just me. He also has, like, a katana that he can enhance with Cursed Energy. And Rika, the cursed spirit of his dead childhood crush, who he can partially manifest for attacks, restraining, spamming projectiles. That's all the boring baseline stuff. On to the real stuff. When he dons this ring for the next 5 minutes, he can fully manifest Rika. What that gives him is, well, one, just an overall stat boost and access to his cursed tools, but more importantly, access to his ability of copy and all his other cursed techniques. It should also be noted that Rika has her own mini stat boost when she opens her eye. I just couldn't really find anywhere to put that in the script. Okay, on to Yuta's cursed techniques. There's copy, kind of how it sounds. He could copy abilities. Granted, he has to eat part of whoever he wants to copy, and the stronger ability, the more vital the organ needs to be. Wait, no, Rika eats it, not him. Sorry, someone's gonna call me a tourist because of that slip up. Anyways, so some of the abilities copied. Cursed speech, which he can sort of just speak commands into existence. Granted, this isn't an insta-win. It works based on, like, the strength of the command and the relative amount of cursed energy of your target. It requires, like, more cursed energy, right? Like, you can't just tell Goku to game end himself, right? It's not a insta-win. There's Sky manipulation, which does a whole bunch of weird shit. Basically, you can warp space around you like a piece of fabric, right? And it can be used for all types of things. Attacks, warping attacks around you for defense, flight, invisibility. Now, it should be stated that the distortions eventually return to normal, so it's unclear the exact AP of sky manipulation, right? There's Jacob's ladder, which just sends these massive beams of light down from the heavens, which possibly gives them speed of light attacks, but no one else really scales to that, so it's up in the air. Curse technique nullification, which is kind of how it sounds. You just shut off someone's technique. Cleave, which is a slash that cuts through traditional defenses, cuts you on like a spatial dimension. And you can also summon Shikigami just for further like minions, assistance, ranged attacks, and forming mini domains. Which gets us to his domain expansion, which is basically an unlimited Bladeworks ripoff. He creates this pocket dimension full of swords. Some swords have cursed techniques in them, some don't. It's unlimited Bladeworks is what it is. Now, without that, now moving on, we'll talk about fierce equalization and whether it applies here. Okay, I've completely forgot this for abilities, but Jotaro also has stand phasing, where, Star Platinum can sort of phase through objects, mess with your insides. Granted, he doesn't really do that in combat because he's not a murder-happy psychopath, but, like, hypothetically speaking, he could, if he was desperate enough, just, like, phase through you and scramble up your insides, like, crush your heart or something. Scramble your brains, I don't know. Okay, now on to fierce equalization. Okay, so I'm just gonna explain fierce equalization pretty quick because I'm assuming if you're clicking on this video, you know what it is, but just in case. Fierce equalization is the idea that different or systems from different series should be treated as the same if they hold enough similarities. For example, take Chakra from Naruto and Reishi from Bleach. Both are spiritual energies that exist within all living things, etc., etc. Yes, they have like minute differences, but they're effectively the same. So a character that can absorb chakra could probably also absorb Reishi. Now take quirks from My Hero Academia. While the soul technically exists to some extent in My Hero Academia, quirks are far more biological than how they work. So someone who can absorb chakra probably isn't going to absorb a quirk. Now, let's look at stands and cursed energy and see how they work. Okay, stands are manifestations of fighting spirit, fighting energy, just sort of given physical form. Now, cursed energy is basically a type of life energy that exists within most, but not all, most things, and is tied to negative emotions and whatnot. Death Battle really is correct when they call it evil ki, because that's kind of what it is. It's your standard spiritual energy / mana system, but 2 degrees more edgy, right? So yes, verse equalization should very much apply here. Now, who benefits from that? Almost entirely Yuji. Because that means if we treat stands and curses to be the same, that means Yuji would be able to not only see, but be able to hurt Star Platinum, which kind of just takes away a lot of Jotaro's advantages in cross-verse, because normally only other stand users can see and interact with stands, but with verse equalization, that kind of goes out the window. Whereas in JJK, even normal humans could see curses if under life or death conditions, so Jotaro could always see Rika regardless of verse equalization. But also, this means that Yuta's domain expansion could likely work on Jotaro because there was a meta that argued that domain expansions only work on people with cursed energy. I'm not sure if that's still around or if that's still like the popular meta, but with verse equalization, it would mean that Johto can be hit by the domain expansion. So yeah, Yuta would benefit massively from verse equalization, while Johto gets minimal advantages. So for concluding, Johto kind of just takes this because the speed gap is too great. Jotaro's low ball is like 100 to 1,000 times faster than Yuta's high ball. And, it'd be one thing if Jotaro lacked the speed difference or lacked the AP to do anything, but when he's hitting just as hard, if not actually slightly harder, and he's 1,000 times faster, nothing Yuta can do really matters. Yes, I understand he has a lot of abilities. His abilities give him better range and AoE, but it just doesn't really matter. Curse speech doesn't matter if your brain gets splattered while you're reaching for a microphone. Any of the weird stuff sky manipulation doesn't matter if you get a donut hole punched in your chest before you can do anything. Domain expansion doesn't matter if he scrambles your brain or crushes your heart before you form the hand signs. Like, simply put, with the AP being what it is, and the massive speed gap, Yuta just kinda dies. And that's not even counting, what's it called? That's not even counting, time stop. Oh, also, shoot, I forgot to mention this, with verse equalization, if you consider Star Platinum a curse, it is possible Yuta could just, like, blow up Star Platinum with enough cursed energy. But, yeah, that's a point. In conclusion, Johto should just take this. And I know what the counter argument is. Oh, but what if it like starts at a range that Johto can't close in time stop? And the only other argument for that is, what if the fight starts with Johto giving Yuta back shots? Like, if we're gonna just invent intentionally disadvantageous positions just to give your guy the win, I mean, pack it up at that point. Just admit he doesn't win outright. So, yeah, point being, Johto should just take this fairly low difficulty, one Aura rush, and it's Dunzo Bunzo. Well, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.